This is Act and Analyze with Maggie and Tyler. We're two best friends.
I'm an actress.
And I'm a therapist.
In Act and Analyze, you will hear us discuss all things within media and our daily lives while relating it to our lovely guests.
We want to have fun, but also learn along the way.
Everywhere around us is media. We just want to know, what type of media helps you, or infuriates you, or makes you feel good?
We want to grow with you and leave you all feeling better than how we found you.
Welcome to Act and Analyze.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Act and Analyze with Maggie and Tyler. It's Tyler here. So listen, we're new to this, okay? We're new to this. We're trying to figure it out. We're doing our best, right? So we had so much fun with our guests this episode that we completely forgot to record our intro. So I'm here to do the intro real quick and just thank you all for being here again. We hope you enjoyed our first two episodes, and thank you so much for following along on this journey with Maggie and I. We appreciate it so much from the bottom of our hearts. So this episode, our guest is our first woman identifying guest, which is so exciting because we recorded on International Women's Day. So we are super excited about this episode. She is a therapist like me. She's a licensed associate counselor. She is so smart, has so much insight to share. She's well-rounded. She also works at Orange Theory as a sales associate and is just super passionate about self-care and healthy relationships and the parallel of physical health and working out with mental health. There are some trigger warnings for this episode. There are conversations on self-harm, body image issues, eating disorders, anxiety, depression. So without further ado, let's welcome our guest, Madison. Thanks, everyone. Hi, Madison.
Hello.
Hey, Madison.
Hello.
So our guest today is Madison. She is a licensed associate counselor, a therapist, and she's well-rounded. She also works at Orange Theory as a sales associate.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I am just so excited to be here. I was telling the girls before, this is awesome, and I'm just so happy to be here on International Women's Day.
Yes! Celebrate our ladies. Our
Women,
first
phenomenal.
female guest.
So excited.
Yes.
Yeah, this is my first time doing anything like this, so nerve-wracking, but I'm so excited. They're both awesome. But yeah, so I went to school undergrad at Westchester University for psychology, and then I went to graduate school at Jordan Court University with Tyler. So we both graduate the clinical mental health counseling program. So that's that. So now I'm a licensed clinician, so I do that. And as Tyler said, I also work part-time at Orange Theory as a sales associate, which is super fun, but they're both pretty different. So my day-to-day is pretty different, but all exciting stuff.
How is that like balancing Orange Theory with being like, because when I've gone to Orange Theory, I love it. It's really intense and the vibes are vibing. Like I feel like everyone's cracked out on a Celsius, like, let's go. Like I'm curious about like the sales associate side of it and maybe like the environment as opposed to your environment in the mental health like world.
Yeah, so it is very, very different. But so growing up, I always played sports. I was always super athletic. And then as I got older, I got into like the weightlifting area. So once I started doing that, I realized I worked out in LA Fitness before, and then I found Orange Theory while I was in grad school. But yeah, as you said, it is very, very different from therapy. Sales tactics are kind of sometimes the complete opposite of what we're trained to do. Yeah. So knowing how to really turn that on and off and, you know, have each of my different sides take a back seat when it's needed to. But yeah, like you said, everyone's always up here. Orange Theory today opened up the gym at 4:30 a.m. So
Oh my god.
Oh my god. And you're here?
yeah, so you get used to it. But yeah, it's actually like that all the time.
Yeah.
But it is a lot of fun. You make amazing connections with people, and a super positive environment, which a lot of times in a
Mhm.
gym, it doesn't feel that way. But in the gym, like for sure, everyone is so supportive of one another. And yeah, it's really, I do really love it. But I also really love therapy. Like I said, two different things.
Mhm.
Mhm. For sure.
Yeah, like, what would you say is, like, the hat you put on at Orange Theory versus, like, the hat you put on as a therapist?
So the how I found an orange theory is definitely more salesy based. You know, when you're doing sales, you want the person coming in to purchase items, to get a membership, to maybe, buy into what you're trying to sell.
Mm.
So you want to almost portray what you're selling in a certain way and make sure that they see all the value in it. Whereas in therapy, it's kind of the opposite. They come in and really they take the lead and you just follow them.
Mhm.
And things come out over time. Whereas it's the complete opposite. Sales, you throw it all right out there, trying
Mhm.
to rope
Mhm.
them in. So it's it's different from one another. It's interesting when I do both in the same day and I have to swap between the 2.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah. You're giving, like, Wolf of Wall Street at the gym and
Yes.
I hope.
and
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of, like, a therapist character, and, well, I just watched Mr. and Mrs. Smith with the Donald Glover, version, and Sarah Paulson plays a therapist.
Mhm.
I've never saw Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Oh my gosh, I never saw the original, but
Uh,
I've seen the new one, and the new one is crazy. It's
Yeah.
also based in New York, kind of is the only place I think where that could actually happen. You have two different moments, two different sides.
I do. I definitely do.
How do you feel like with when bringing like media into it, whether it be like social media, like movies, TV, like what kind of do you have any moments that inspired while watching the like anything really to become a therapist or to get into the fitness industry?
Yeah, so growing up, I actually did not want to be a therapist. I wanted to be a speech pathologist. I couldn't even give you 3 reasons as to why besides I knew they made money, so I was like, "That sounds fun."
Yeah.
Yes, that's how
Let's
we related because both of us weren't originally going
Yes.
for
Yes.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I was
Mhm.
like, "That's cool." Like, they make money. Like, sure, I knew someone, like a friend's sister who did it, so I was like, "Fun, whatever." My sophomore year of college, I decided I was like, "This is not for me. I don't like this. I'm not relating to any of it." So that's when I transitioned to psychology. The issue with psychology was for a while, I don't know if anyone else remembers, but if you were majoring in psychology, the thing was like you're not going to get a job. Like you weren't
Mhm.
going to make money.
Mhm.
Like that was a big thing, which it happens with different majors, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
I was
Just,
in acting, so the stigma there was like, you're just never
yeah, but
gonna
like there's
have-
always like that stigma with certain
Oh,
like majors.
100%, especially in
Mhm.
college. Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing was, I was like, no, like I want to do this. I'm going to grad school. I know exactly what I want to do. I wouldn't say it was a lot of social media that geared me towards therapy. It was more of like my experiences of like in, I guess my experiences in life, which might have come from social media.
Mhm.
And then same thing with the fitness realm. I kind of saw things on social media and I was like, oh wow, like I want to look like that. Like that
Mhm.
girl looks like she is always energetic. She's always doing like these fun events, stuff like that. So I was like, oh cool, like maybe that's something I want to do.
Mhm.
And then also at fitness, I did get diagnosed with PCOS in
Mhm.
high school. So for me, that was kind of like, okay, I kind of need to figure this out right now.
Mhm. What was that experience like for you? Do you feel like that led you to where you are now?
Yeah. So in high school, when I found out about the PCOS, no one really was like talking about it back then. Like it wasn't as common of a like
Mhm.
subject.
Yeah.
But I do remember Macy on Teen Mom. I don't know if anyone watched Teen Mom. Macy on Teen Mom or like 16 and Pregnant, one of those shows, she actually had PCOS. And it was like around that time. So she was going around doing speeches and stuff like that. But still, not many people were talking about it. So, like, to me, I was more like, oh my God, like, I'm not going to have kids. So, like, for me,
Mhm.
that was a big struggle for me. But then I went, the doctor and things like that. And over time, like, I realized, okay, it is something that's a lot more common and manageable and can be reversible
Yeah.
with any of that. So, yeah, so that it was a little bit difficult at first, but
Mhm.
that definitely helped me with wanting to work out more because I started to notice a change in how I felt and the way like my hormones looked on paper and things like
Mhm.
that from the working out. So that
Yeah. No, that's
amazing.
amazing. It's so hard when you're young and like you're working out. Like I think so many young folks don't realize that like you want to do it to like make yourself feel good, not even to like look a certain way. Like I think people get into it to be like, oh, I want to look this way. And then over time you start to realize like, no, 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 I'm going to the gym because like this feels really good for me and good for my mental health. And like crazy that you kind of are in both fields, because I think there's so much that benefits mental health and there's so much that like destroys it. So you being kind of a person who works in both, you see so many pros and cons and you see how good it can be, but also you see like the bad sides to it as well. And you have a nice balance with that, which is really admirable, because I think it takes people so long to get to that point, you know?
Yeah. And it definitely does. I was in a place too where like I struggled with that for some time. But yeah, it does take time, and it kind of takes a little bit of patience with yourself. And remembering, you just want to feel good. It doesn't matter at a point like how you look, anything like that. Like, you just want to feel good. Like for me, at this point where I am in my life now, I'm working out to give me energy for the day. I'm working out, because when I don't, I feel really weak and things like that. But yeah, like you were saying, like it does have its benefits and it does have its negatives. Something that also is a huge thing is on social media. There's a lot of fit Instagrams, things like that, TikTokers, and what they're promoting. A lot of times they're in posed positions where they're either holding their breath or they're bending a certain way that you don't see in those pictures, or maybe they're editing them. And what's really cool is now a lot of those fit Instagram people are coming out and saying, this is what I actually look like when I'm not posing this way. Or you see this picture I posted 2 years ago, I edited that. So things like that are so important though, because you have such young kids on social media and they're seeing these things, and a lot of them are not attainable. Another factor is PEDs, that's performance enhancement drugs. So in the fitness industry, there's also a lot of those, which a lot of kids have no idea about. So once again, you're showing them these things that are not attainable. And so it's just like, it's kind of like always like a constant battle between trying to find that like line where everyone's being honest about it. And it's like a healthy relationship for people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like weightlifting too is like so amazing for women. And I think that the stigma of that women are gonna like look a certain way or like not, benefit from weightlifting, and it's a man's thing and everything like that. I think that's really switched, which I love. I don't know if you know this about me, actually. I don't know if I've shared, but in college I did Olympic weightlifting. So I was on the Olympic weightlifting team in college. Yeah,
That's awesome.
I miss it so much. Like, thank you. And it was just so empowering because I really struggled with my body image always, especially growing up and in high school and stuff. And then I got to college and was introduced to Olympic weightlifting. And you can't like starve yourself, and you can't like do all of these things that I was unfortunately doing when I was in high school, and having disordered eating and cleansing and doing all these things that are not good for you. In lifting, they're like, no, you need to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And like, we don't run. We don't run. Like, weightlifters don't run. So don't do any of that shit. And I was like, wow. And it really, really made me have such a different outlook on my body and on exercise. And
I didn't know that it was like that. That's sick. Good for you.
Thank you.
We love strong women.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
You mentioned social media being an influence a lot when it comes to fitness and stuff. Do you feel that you relate to media at all in the therapy world?
I do. So I don't know if you guys use like Tumblr at all when you were younger. So we grew up, unfortunately, in the Tumblr era. Tumblr was cool for a lot of reasons, for like aesthetic reasons. There was cool stuff on there, but there's also a lot of not good stuff on there. So, and if you grew up in that era, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And that kind of gave a lot of people, it was almost like it made being sad and depressed like a trend. It made self-harm a trend. Like all of those things became a trend, which should not be, obviously. But Yeah, so for me growing up, seeing that was like a lot. And I even like on my Facebook memories, I'll look and I'll see like from me posting when I was like seventh grade, like posting statuses or posting to my friends being like, I look ugly here, or I look this here, like I hate myself today. And I'm like, it's just such a different world. And I feel like now it's different. Also, it has its pros, it has its cons. Now we have things like Instagram, we have TikTok. But what is awesome now, there are a lot of therapists who now also have social media and they'll post their stuff, which is awesome for people, who can't maybe afford therapy at the time because it is expensive, or people who don't have the time or the resources or anything like that. But also that comes with that is also harm, There's also people who might be posing to be therapists,
Right.
trying to give advice, which we don't do.
Right.
We're guiders, we're not advice givers. So there's definitely a lot of pros and cons with the therapy world in social media. And I will say it is awesome that it is so normalized
Right.
to go to therapy because you need to go to therapy.
Yes.
It's so important. Even when you don't think you should be in therapy, you should be in therapy. Because there's always something that, you might not think anything of, but it could come up for you. And maybe it's just something you've been like pushing down your whole life. Yeah, I think it's really helpful though in that way, pushing people to try something that they weren't always comfortable with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think that the pros are so there, like you said, it's normalized now, and it shows people that it's so accessible, and not to everyone, but more accessible than maybe it used to be. And that I think the cons are, you probably relate to this, like when clients come in and they're like, I saw a TikTok about this. Like, I think I definitely am on the autism spectrum. Like, I do this and that. And the therapist on TikTok said, I do this and that. And it's like immediately when they say that, we're like,
It's a self-diagnosing.
yeah, exactly.
We go to grad school and get a degree for a reason.
So it's like, that's the con. But also people are just really educated now on stuff, which is really, really wonderful. Like sometimes I'm like, oh shit, I don't know anything about that, like that topic. Like, you know more than me from this like TikTok therapist, which is cool in itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely agree with you with that topic.
Yeah.
I love the therapists who like post like questions to ask like a partner or a friend or yourself, and they like do things like that. Like, I think it gets more dicey when it comes to diagnosis.
Yes.
Like,
I definitely agree with
yeah.
that.
Communication skills, maybe coping skills, like those are okay things to be posting. But I think when it comes to diagnosing, people take that very, very seriously, and that can be very harmful.
Yeah. Saw this woman that is going through a really hard breakup. It's her first breakup and she's 28. Such hard emotions to go through alone. So I think it's really beautiful that we're now in a place in society where we can all open up as people in that way and be vulnerable enough to like share our stories in that way. I think it opens your mind, like gives you more of a perspective too of where people are at, and makes you think of them in their shoes.
It has which was a really good point you brought up. That's such a good aspect of social media where talking helps. Like talking is so therapeutic. Like even if it's not having a therapy section, just talking, venting your feelings, and even like posting things like that on social media, you're now connecting with other people who might have the same experiences as you. Maybe, they've been there before. They have tips for you. They have advice for you. Or maybe it's someone who kind of was thinking, why is this happening to me and only me? And they see it's a little bit more normalized for them. Like, wow, a lot of people go through the same stuff.
Yeah.
So it is really helpful in that way. And it's nice, like, when I look at the comments, like, people connecting.
Yeah,
like,
it's a sense of community.
If you need someone, message me. Like, it's just awesome because, we should all be there for each other. Why not? Right? There's enough of us. Like, we should all just be there for each other, supporting each other, especially, like, through.
Yeah, I agree. That's such a beautiful part, is the sense of community that it brings. Also, you're a reader too, right? You love to read. Some books that you think like that relate to you as a therapist and being therapists.
So I will be honest. A lot of my books I read are rom-com books,
Mm-hmm.
but a few,
Yes.
but a few I have read that are therapy books, which is Body Meets the Score.
Mm-hmm.
I also read this book. It's called What Happened to You. It was by Oprah and it was a psychologist actually. He does it all. So they pretty much would like have like their sessions, and it was written out in dialogue. So that was really, really cool. Went into
Whoa.
depth of like her trauma.
Wow.
The point was like what happened to you. It was more so of like not why are you doing what you're doing. It's more so like something happened and that's why you're doing it. It's not like you're choosing that option. So that was actually really cool. I never got to finish it because it was a long book in school, but I do want to finish that. It was really awesome. Tells you a lot about Oprah, and it's super candid and just like raw. Just like things that keep you thinking. I like psychological thrillers.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite rom-com?
So right now I'm reading The American Roommate Experiment. And it's good so far. I've only got like halfway through. I'm a slow reader. So I've only gotten halfway through. But I've read like that like ice skating one or the hockey one. I read that one years ago. That one was really good. I read all of those like November 9th, Verity. I read all those books. Verity, fantastic book.
It Ends With Us.
I didn't read It Ends With Us. That's the only one that everyone's like.
I really want to read Verity. That's the one I do want to read.
Verity is very good, but it's very like your stomach will turn.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
It's that kind of book.
But that's what I was kind of missing in It Ends With Us. I wanted something.
You want something more. Yeah, if you want something more, Verity.
Yeah.
Verity is. It's kind of like completely opposite from the rest of them.
Yeah, that's what I hear too. Okay. Do you like rom-com movies as like a form of self-care?
I do. I love a good laugh. I know sometimes people like to watch movies and like cry, and that's kind of like sometimes that feels good, but for me, like I just love to laugh.
Yes.
So I also like all those older movies, like comedies in general. Like obviously I love, like Mean Girls. I loved what was that other one with Amanda Bynes? She's the man.
Oh yeah,
she's the man.
Like all those kind of like thousands movies. And action movies always feel good.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Would you say you have like a comfort show that you put on or anything?
So right now, I'm a big reality TV kind of girl.
Oh yeah,
huge. So right now, me and my boyfriend are watching Summer House from the start. I watched all of it already, but he wants to watch it. Well, he didn't want to watch it. I thought we were watching it. Good.
Yes.
You like Loverboy the drinks?
Yes, I love Loverboy.
So we're watching that right now. Otherwise, I just finished Love Is Blind.
Oh yeah,
amazing!
Oh my gosh,
good show. Same thing though, like it is also super therapeutic to like watch and be like, wow, people can connect on things that aren't looks. Which like you don't think about it, but like it's not something common because maybe you'll meet someone at the bar, meet someone on the street, you meet someone. I met my boyfriend on Hinge, so like you see the looks first, usually, and then everything comes afterwards. So it's so different with the wall. It's just so cool.
Yeah,
I love it. And then they have like real conversations. Good show. I like it.
Amy and Johnny.
I love Amy and Johnny. I love them. Amy's dad.
I know. Deserve the world. I
know. AD.
I know.
AD.
Fuck Clay.
Yeah.
Literally fuck Clay.
I agree. She was a queen and he just couldn't handle it.
She was perfect.
He could not handle it. She was an independent woman.
No. And like, oh my gosh, I totally wanted to talk about this. So this is perfect. Like, I just think like on International Women's Day, perfect time to chat about it. I'm just like so sick of these like emotionally immature boys.
Yes.
That just cling to these emotionally mature women who are so confident, so secure, and they use them as a lesson for these men, use these women as a lesson for themselves. And he literally admitted that to her, like, you taught me like what my issues are, and now I need to go fix them. So what does that leave her?
Yeah.
Like, so now she's just a lesson for you? Like, now you're going to go choose and do the work because she had to like mirror your issues for you? And you're just going to like leave her in the dust. Like, it's such bullshit. Like, it's just like, and it's so relatable, like that experience. So like,
it's horrible. I agree. And it's so common.
Oh my gosh.
You're like mid to late 20s. And you're still learning how to treat another human.
To be a good, to just be a good person.
Just
Like
it's pretty baseline. Like it's not.
it's even with his dad having that conversation with
His mom.
his mom.
I cringed. I cringed.
I cringed. I was
She was iconic.
she was
though. Like,
iconic.
I was so proud of her for saying that.
Me
like
too.
someone needed to say it, and I'm glad she did. And like, you can tell she has been wanting to say something like that to him, and he was trying to like smooth talk her and say like he needs to find a woman like you. And she was like, you found me, and you still hurt me. Like, wow, like. Oh my gosh. Then I do really feel bad for him in a way, because like you saw the interaction with him and his dad.
Yeah.
And you saw the narcissism in his dad, and like the competition between the two. Like he literally, like you can tell how uncomfortable just Clay's body language was with that interaction. He was like, I didn't know that you were going to come. So it's like he has just so obviously there's a lot of trauma there. Which like unfortunately, but again, like it's so relatable. AD had to bear the brunt of the trauma that unfortunately Clay has not dealt with yet.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
He couldn't admit to getting help until AD was in his life. Like, and that's like, you should want to do that just for you.
Okay. What would you say as like a therapist is like the number one thing like you like to really focus on with your clients?
To focus on my clients, I always emphasize self-care. It's almost like, I always like to say, it's kind of like you are building a tower or something. If your bricks at the bottom are not aligned, how do you expect the tower to stand straight? So if you have, if it's lopsided, it's going to fall over. So pretty much self-care is like that bottom layer. You need to be taking care of yourself. If your mental health isn't in a good place, if your physical health is in a good place, all of those things, if that is not seen through, then nothing really else piled on top will really work as well, if that makes sense. It's not like a machine. So I always definitely work on self-care with them. I really, really push for that. I personally love like handing out like journal homework. I'm a homework kind of therapist. Because I'm like, let's keep thinking. So I love journaling, and I love journal prompts. Obviously my journal prompts are usually insinuating towards a certain topic, but it really just gets people thinking. In that off time from the sessions. And also to do with self-care. I always, whenever I ask like, what do you do for self-care? I find that people are like, I don't do anything. And it's often I'm having the conversation, self-care looks differently for everyone. Self-care to you might be laying on the couch for 30 minutes, just staring at the wall to ease your mind. Self-care for someone else might be going for a walk. So those different things, using them intentionally, opposed to just passively in your everyday life, and just making it more so of a habit. It's almost kind of like, I know my boss says often, you wouldn't skip a doctor's appointment at the doctor, so why skip an appointment with yourself? So that's something always I want to implement.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love that. It's so crazy how self-care looks different. And also it's just not the image, that is always put out there in, what you see in movies or shows or even on social media. It's like, it's not the green mask with the cucumber on the eyes. Like it's not like self-care. Self-care is like literally like journaling about you, making like that time for you, maybe like cooking yourself a like really nice meal instead of like just like because you don't have time, you're running it to McDonald's. Like it's like or like sometimes self-care is like, I deserve that McFlurry today. Like it looks so different for everyone, and it looks different like day to day or week to week. But I think having those kind of core things that is your own self-care is so helpful. Self-care has definitely been like a journey for me. And I think a lot of like young women, because we also put so much pressure on ourselves as well.
And it takes time, just doing things that feel right. I always say, what makes you feel most like you? Because that's how you want to feel in those kind of moments. But yeah, it is a journey, and it's kind of like trial and error. You don't know what works for you until you figure it out, and you're like, oh wow, that actually made me feel good.
And even just stillness, like you mentioned, like just sitting on the couch and staring at the wall, like For some people, self-care is just being still, because some people don't even can't even incorporate, going to the gym or going on the walk or cooking the meal. And it's just like stillness and quiet maybe is for some people self-care, that they need to just function in life, like based on their experience or socioeconomic status or whatever it is. Like,
funny that sometimes self-care to us feels like, I don't want to do this.
For sure.
But it's like always so worth it. Like something I'm trying to work on is just like sitting on the couch in stillness, watching just one thing. I think the pandemic had me like addicted to being like on my laptop doing work, watching a show, like having a show on in the back, like also like having 4 beverages. Like I'm that type of bitch. So
you're a bev bitch.
I'm a bev bitch. So just recently I've been really trying to sit in stillness and just watch like a 20-minute show and give that time for just me and that show,
which is hard.
And it shouldn't be hard.
Yeah,
but it is. It feels weird sometimes.
That is a good thought though, because like that's not even something I thought about. Like self-care wise, like just focusing in on one thing.
Wow. I know.
Yeah, and what your boss said, what you mentioned earlier about like you would go to a doctor's appointment, so why not schedule in for you? Like that's what I tell my clients, and even when I was working at the school with the students, like you literally in your iPhone calendar or your planner, whatever you use, like schedule in that time. And if someone asks you to do something, like, no, I'm busy, because you would say you're busy if you had an appointment. You would say you're busy if you have work. Like, so if that time is scheduled out for you, just for you, then like say no to whatever comes up, any responsibilities that come up, because you're busy at that time. And then you can do whatever it is needs to, if you so choose to. But I think it's very important to schedule out that self-care time like we would schedule out anything else.
Do you all find like with your clients or with people in your life, have you ever experienced people who that don't put in that time, and then it affects their relationships because of it? Have you ever had that type of experience?
For sure. Probably you too. Yeah. So because what happens is you start to get to a point where you're so overwhelmed. When you're overwhelmed, usually what happens is you might be irritable, you might be angry. So then it's going to start to affect those relationships. Kind of like we were saying, how could you help or be there for someone else when you're not there for yourself? You're almost giving like a half of you, which isn't in a relationship, especially like a romantic relationship. How could you help them and be in like that kind of relationship when you yourself are struggling or in that way?
Definitely. And I think that especially in our fields, we really pick up on those things with other people. And it's hard to like, because you want to tell the people you love, like, go to therapy, go take care of yourself. But then it's like they get offended because they think that we know more than them or something. And we're more cognizant of that because we're therapists. And it's hard to watch people not make the time for themselves or not get the help that they need. But then it's like you have to pick and choose the conversations that you have as well.
That's a good point too. Like referring someone like, maybe therapy would be good for you. It is seen as like very offensive. Like, like we were saying before, like everyone should go to therapy. But yeah, I completely agree with what you were saying though. Trying to get other people to do it. It's difficult. And like, yeah, sometimes you don't want to have those conversations. But then there's also a point, sometimes you need to have those conversations. But then it also brings us to the point where we're working 24 hours a day, every single day. Everywhere in our life, we are doing therapy. And it's very difficult to manage sometimes. Whether you're doing it in your home with your family or with, let's say, a significant other, it becomes hard. Because you're taking on so much of everyone else all the time. It's like, it's almost like how everyone else like will shut their laptop and clock out. It's like, we don't really do that. We try to, and we're supposed to, but it's almost because of our human nature. It's like, we can't. We have to try to help. Always.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah. It's so true.
If you're watching this, you should go to therapy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, healthy relationships is also something I'm super passionate about. I see. So when I actually filled out the form of what I wanted to talk about, it was around Valentine's Day. I had a really good conversation with a client of mine, just regarding what Valentine's Day is. Growing up and even in this world right now, Valentine's Day is all about the romantic relationships, focusing on that kind of love.
Mhm.
And we had a discussion more so than like Valentine's Day is about love in general.
Yeah.
Loving yourself, having a healthy relationship with yourself, having a healthy relationship with your significant other, having one with your friends, your family. So loving all different areas. It's just so important. Like I always see this quote, and it's one of those quotes that, like, always pops up around you. I think it says something like keep people around who feel like sunshine kind of thing. So yeah, having boundaries, like we were saying, just having those healthy relationships around you that make you feel good, that make you feel fulfilled in life.
With love, and Valentine's Day, there is like so much commercialized love on relationships. But I also think that, we have to focus on loving ourselves first before we do any of like loving on your own relationships or your friendship.
So actually, I have a really interesting form of self-care. So I know I said I like to read. Something interesting I do is I also really like to walk. So during COVID, I decided to merge the two. Because, I'm on my phone walking, I'll read, I'll go through Instagram. Like, why instead of doing that, I'll just read and walk. So now I walk around my block and I read books. So during school, I would read like my textbooks, I'd be studying, or, I'd be reading my novels, anything like that.
And you hold it?
Yep, I hold it. I just hold my book and I flip through the pages.
That's amazing.
I love that.
Every single time I'm doing it, I get stopped at least 3 times. People being like, I don't know how you do that. Or that's amazing. Or when I don't have my book, it's a big deal. Everyone stops me. They're like, what happened? Where's your book? Like, no reading today? And I'm like, I'm taking a day off, actually. But yeah, that's what I like to do. Because it kind of just merges the two. I love being outside. Like anytime I can be, I'm so happy the weather's nice again because now I can walk. So now I just do the two, and I definitely recommend it. Be careful. I guess it could be dangerous, but like, just watch the car, stay on the sidewalk.
That's amazing.
I love that. Oh my gosh, that's amazing to me. I can't even like.
It's also a special skill.
I can't even walk.
Special talent of mine. Reading and walking.
Reading, I can do like sometimes, but walking, no. Doing both at the same time is just wow. That's amazing.
You got to put that on your resume.
Yeah.
Are you all the type of person like on your phone when you're talking to someone? Are you going to be sitting there and talking to that person on the phone? Or are you going to be walking around?
Oh, I'll be pacing.
I pace.
Back and forth.
Always.
Back and forth. I get like so many steps in. I'm back and forth.
I know.
On the phone.
It's not even like I'm doing anything. I'm literally just pacing. I go from the living room to the bedroom to the living room to the bedroom. I'm just that person on the phone. Like
That's amazing.
I can't help it. I don't know. It's something about it when
I feel like also the phone. I don't know if anyone else is like this, but like getting a phone call is for some reason nerve-wracking.
Yes.
You get a phone call, you're like, shit, something's serious.
100%.
So when I answer the phone, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna walk it off. Pretend it's not happening.
I'm a sit and chatter. I am.
Silas is sit and chatter.
I think I definitely the type of person who like when I'm having a conversation, like especially work calls and stuff, like I really think before I say anything. So it's like if I add walking into the mix, like I'm going to get distracted.
Yes.
Like I need to like sit still in my spot and like really know what I'm going to say. Because also sometimes I am reading off like notes that I wrote down. So no, I'm a sit and talker, actually.
Yeah, that's nice.
Maybe I should start doing that.
I think I should probably start doing that.
Well, maybe I should start walking and talking.
Why don't you try and then we'll try.
Yeah. We'll discuss. We'll debrief.
Exactly. Yes. Do you feel like there's any piece of media, like a movie or show or a book or anything like that, that you feel like relates to your experiences?
Oh, yes. Kahan, he's a singer. He sings a lot about mental health. He has gone through various different battles within his life, and he actually speaks about it throughout the music. So yeah, it's almost kind of like transformative going through his music. So when I listen to it, I've been in his shoes in different points in my life. I've you know, been depressed. I have heavily what's sort I have heavily like relied on like alcohol or anything like that. There's different things that he talks about though that I'm like I'll listen. I'm like, wow, I really connect. In one of the songs, he was like so focused on someone who didn't want him. I was also in that position at one point. So all of his songs just speak to me. They make me so emotional, and I like listen to. I was listening to them actually on the way here. That's like also my self care. I listen to him. But yeah, so I definitely connect a lot with music. I can relate, I feel like, in a lot of instances. Whether that be, I had growing up, I had like severe social anxiety. A lot of people don't know this, but I actually struggled leaving my house for like a very long time. So once I got into high school, I struggled. I couldn't call up a pizza place to order a pizza for my family. I couldn't go pick it up, like things like that. I've had like random panic attacks about like just in general. So yeah, that was like a whole era of my life, that social anxiety mixed in with depression in some areas because of the social anxiety.
Yeah.
Relationship issues, everyone has them. I had those. I had just like body image issues. I had all of it. So I really find healing, like connecting with different things. But I would say definitely Noah Kahan.
Just like thank you for sharing those experiences. I
course.
think like music is such an outlet for people, and I'm glad that you like have that to connect to, and even younger you to go back to know that you weren't alone, and like someone as big as him like had similar experiences. So
It is always helpful in music. Like I found lately that I'm really listening to words.
mm,
Like I'm not just like listening, like I'm like listening. And thinking about the words, and that's something I never really did. So now that I do that more, I'm like appreciating it a lot more.
Music has such a power over so much, and it makes us feel things viscerally. I think that's one thing that I really loved about him is I watched him do an interview one time, and he was like, I just like love that people feel seen by me. He's so humble too.
He like has no idea.
No idea.
No idea how amazing he is. I saw him in concert in Philly, I think it was like last year. And just going there and looking out and like people sobbing to his music. And him
Yeah.
looking out to the crowd and just kind of being like, wow. Like he even posts videos of himself being like, I don't know why I'm here, how I'm here. It's awesome.
Yes.
We need more of those.
Yeah.
Please.
I've been dying to meet a Noah Khan girly.
Obsessed.
I've been dying. His songs are always on my
Like for you page.
yeah, for you page and on my Spotify Discover Weekly. He's on my Discover Weekly a bunch.
Definitely listen to Growing Sideways. And listen to the words of Growing Sideways.
Okay. I will.
yeah, I feel like you love music to cry to.
Yes.
That's a huge.
Tyler's like, wait, you work out to this? Yeah. So, do you have any recommendations for the fans out there? For me, for Tyler, what are your recommendations for movies, media, music? We love Noah Khan. We know that's a new one on my list.
Yeah. If you like reality TV, like I do, I definitely recommend Summer House. It is definitely chaotic, but it's almost like that show. It's based out in the summer. It just makes you have that feeling of summer all the time when you're watching it. Like I said, it is chaotic. So there are those moments, but it just kind of like brings the sun to you a little bit and makes you feel like you're back in the summer, even when you're in the dead of the winter, like right now. But I really like shows like that. And I also really like the thousands kind of feel good movies. Ones like, I wouldn't say Dear John's like a feel good movie, but ones like those. So Dear John, She's the Man, or any American Ashley movies as I got older. I love a good feel good old thousands movie.
Yeah, the nostalgia.
The nostalgia moment.
Legally Blonde.
So good.
So good.
All those movies are like incomparable to anything we have now. Going back into that time almost is like a good feel good moment for me. So I always recommend like those. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Madison, thank you so much for joining us, for being
Mhm.
our amazing guest
Yes.
on International Women's Day.
Yes.
Celebrating you.
So excited.
Yeah, just thank you for coming on and sharing your story. We really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you guys for
you.
having me. This is so fun and they're amazing. So,
Thank you.
you know, definitely keep watching them because I will be.
Yes.
But yeah, this was fun.
Where could people find you if you don't mind plugging your socials?
At Mad Baez.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Madison.
Thank you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Maggie's medium munchies. Maggie's medium munchies. Welcome to Maggie's medium munchies, where I pair a food or drink with a piece of media. One that I have that is kind of inspired by the weekend that we had is go to a bar that plays Beyonce and listen to Texas Hold'em and get yourself a ranch water. Get yourself a tequila soda with lime. So good.
Texas.
Like,
Hold up.
so with Beyonce, like I always have to put my drink down, obviously safely, right? Or I hand over to a friend.
Yeah.
But
Not me though.
not you.
Yeah.
Definitely not you. Usually Danny. Because my body just gyrates too much. And I just flail around too much.
Yeah.
I just lose control.
We'll be drinking no more
Yeah.
after.
Yeah, there literally will be no drink. So, but with Texas Hold'em, it's different when you hear that in a bar or a club, as opposed to something like Diva
Yeah.
or like even Love on Top too. Like I'm just going crazy for those. Whereas Texas Hold'em, I'm going the same amount of crazy, but I can still hold my drink. I could still hold that ranch water. And it's just giving Texas. It's giving this ain't Texas.
Yeah. Ain't no hold up.
Ain't no Hold'em. It's refreshing. It's great. For anyone who doesn't drink alcohol, I suggest the ginger aid poppy. Really good. It's real yum. It just has this limey, spritey taste to it. Like bubbly. Like I'm bubbling and burst into that song. So I need a bev that matches me. So that's the energy. I also feel like it kind of like you can do the dance with a drink in
Yes.
hand.
I think she wanted that
Yeah.
for us. I think she wanted us to be able to hold our ranch water and do the dance.
Yes.
I think that was the point of the beat.
She's such an icon for that.
She is. She wants us to be enjoying it all while we listen to the beautiful song.
And then something that I've been thinking about a lot is like a bar that there are movies that you watch at night and there are movies that you watch in the morning. One of those movies that I watch in the morning specifically is Bridesmaids.
That's a good morning one.
That's like a good morning one. It's probably like always on Freeform. It's probably like always on like ABC Family. I don't know, but it's incredible. And it's so good. It really never goes out of style. Like, and so I recommend pairing that with like a really good breakfast. Like, I don't know if we take enough time for ourselves to like sit and like on a Saturday morning or Sunday morning and watch a movie with like a big breakfast. Like I'm talking pancakes. I'm talking a Denny's Grand Slam. Pancakes, bacon, avocado toast, poached egg, some hash browns, a banana,
That's yum.
and some OJ and quaff.
Always.
A nice coffee. And like just sit and watch Bridesmaids and crack up. Like I guarantee if you start your day like that on a Saturday or Sunday, what could go like nothing like you're gonna have a great day. You're gonna have a good day. What could go wrong? Exactly.
Off to a great start, that's for sure.
So that's my tip. I was even thinking like biscuits.
Ooh,
Oh, like a
bridesmaids and biscuits.
bridesmaids and biscuits. Hey everyone, come over for bridesmaids and biscuits.
That's a cute. And then Texas Hold'em and ranch water at night.
Oh my God, Texas Hold'em,
Southern,
that
a whole Southern affair.
a whole Southern affair.
Mhm.
I think that would be a great. Oh my God, I think that'd be great. I think that'd be great.
Mhm.
Do it.
Good, like bachelorette party.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, those are my two pairings. They're inspired by one another in a way.
They are
I
full
love them.
circle.
Full circle.
Beautiful.
But yeah, those are my Maggie medium munchies.
This is Tyler's Take Care of Yourself tip, where I give you all a tip to take care of yourself. This week's Take Care of Yourself tip is just be still.
Yeah.
Do nothing.
Yeah.
Do you ever get told to do nothing? Probably not. I'm telling you. Just be still and do this by laying down somewhere, preferably outside, like if you got any grass or like sand near you. But if you don't, that's okay. You can do it like on your floor. And just put your phone away, turn everything off, like be as silent as possible, and just close your eyes and just breathe and be still. I recommend doing it for like at least 5 minutes. At least minimum 5 minutes. I think you should be doing it for like 10 to 20 minutes. I know that's sometimes a lot for some people to handle. Just unplug. Just be still and just do nothing. It's really, really life changing,
Yes.
to be honest.
No, it is.
We don't do that enough. So, yeah, be still and take care of yourself, everyone.
Take care of yourself. Welcome to Cravings Corner. What are you craving? Are you craving a feeling, a food, a place, a people, a piece of a people,
A moment.
a moment? What are you craving?
What am I craving?
What are you craving?
Well, everyone, it's International Women's Day.
Woo!
What I'm craving today and every damn day is for women to have complete autonomy of their bodies
Yes.
and for these nasty ass men to stop trying to pass laws, take away our rights, and try to control our bodies.
Yes.
I'm craving equality for all women
Yes.
today and every day.
Today and every day.
My craving.
I'm craving that too. Oh. And we're all in this together, ladies.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's amazing, Tyler, because true. It's what we need. And 2 damn long.
Mm-hmm. Yes. What are you craving?
I'm craving a long walk with no destination.
Ooh.
Madison inspired me a lot. And I think when you're living in New York, you do not go on enough walks with no destination.
Mm-hmm.
You're always going somewhere. You're always walking somewhere to go somewhere. If you're walking, it's like if you're walking a dog, you're walking a route.
Yeah.
Like there's something about walking with no destination that's really healing. And I'm craving something like that, especially with the warmer weather coming. Yeah.
I want you to go on like a frolic.
Yes. I want
A frolic through the streets
I
of
want
New
a
York
frolic
with no destination.
with no destination. I want to have a coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have a croissant.
Ooh.
Walking nowhere. Maybe like stopping by, sitting on a grassy knoll
And being still.
and being still. We're getting full circle here. We are getting full circle here.
We are always.
Always. Great cravings.
We do.
This week.
We have great cravings. We have great, and we're ready to give you more next week.
Yeah, we can't wait.
So tune in.
Tune in.
We have another great guest for next
Oh
week.
my God. Amazing.
And
Amazing guest. So
yeah,
excited.
So excited. Thank you all for listening. And
Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Act and Analyze Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube.
Yep.
Subscribe. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Mwah.